What's up, my pre-diabetic runners? It's your girl. You just made it through my presentation. Now I'm going to show you what it means to implement sustainable change. I worked last night. I've been awake. That's my cat. I've been awake since like 11:30 a.m. yesterday because I chose to go on a run after school instead of sleeping. Is that a choice I regret? Not really, because I love running. So eating on this kind of schedule is very weird. There is not a specific breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? And when I come home after the shift that I've had, wasn't too crazy. But half of the patients on the floor were intubated, which means we had, and 2 more of them were on BiPAP, which means we had these breathing machines chattering to each other all night, and boop-a-doop, boop-boop, boop-a-doop, boop-boop. So listen, I'm overstimulated. I'm tired. My feet hurt. I'm sore. My legs hurt. I ate Chick-fil-A. I almost said ground chicken. Chick-fil-A grilled chicken that we ordered as like nurse group, okay? Which was delicious. I highly recommend that. It's a great source of protein, pretty low carb. Which remember, on our rest days, we're generally going for lower carb, not low carb, but lower carb, trying to keep below that 50 gram threshold per meal, generally, right? If you want more specific advice, you need to go to a nutritionist. This is general. So grilled chicken, great option. Okay, and this is going to be a one-take video because we need to see what sustainable change means. So I'm slightly sorry that I'm so tired. So that's pretty much all I had last night. And I also had some popcorn, so there's a little extra carbs for you. This is how busy my shift was. My water bottle is still mostly full, so. Wow, I just realized I'm so thirsty. Woo! Okay, so, let's be so for real, okay? Let's be so for real, because this whole experience with prediabetes, all of this is about being so for real with yourself. You got to ask yourself the hard questions. You got to figure out what you really want. Do you want to reverse a reversible chronic condition, right? Which will also superpower your running. It will make you faster, right? It will make you stronger. It will make you a better runner. Or do you want to do this? Which, like, hey, I work in healthcare, right? I work in an ICU. I see, dude, I admitted 3 patients last night for diabetic ketoacidosis. Remember, I'm not the nurse, I'm the tech, right? 3 patients for uncontrolled diabetes. That could be you if you do this, right? And that's well within your rights. I can't control your health. I can't. And like when you work long enough in critical care and you see the stupid things that people do, you start to realize that like you cannot care more about people's health than they do, which is a hard truth. But I'm giving you these hard truths and I'm holding your hands. Hey, my kitty. I'm holding your hands while I say that, right? I can't care more about your health than you do. So I'm going to give you these tools. I'm going to show you what it means to make sustainable, imperfect change, because perfection is not reasonable, okay? And then I'm going to go the heck to bed because I'm tired. So here's the thing. When I get home from work after the shift that I just had, where my water bottle is still mostly full and there's trash all over my kitchen, I am not going to get out a pan, okay? I don't care if the Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok recipe says, only 1 pan recipe, it's so easy. No, I'm not getting out a pan. I'm getting out one thing. And you want to know what the one thing, hi girls, I'm getting out is? It's a kiss to my kitty's head. The one thing I'm getting out is, it's a butter knife, okay? What? That's 7. She's very talkative. She has a lot to say. Here are the next 2 things I'm getting out. Carb balanced tortillas. PB. Dried straws. Sharp cheddar cheese sticks. Shoot, I'm tired. What? And one last thing. Jelly. So here's what we're going to do. We are at 5 minutes of Ray is tired and Ray is rambling to show you a day in the life of working night shift, going to school full time, being pre-diabetic, and training for a 10K because I really just don't know how to stop. And there's schmutz all over my counter. Whose fault is that? Mine. I live alone. Okay. So, what's the timestamp? We're at 5:34. I am going to make a high fiber, higher-ish carb, higher protein, big snack, small meal, okay? At the end of this video, I'm going to insert the nutrition facts so you can see. I use white chocolate Wonderful PB&Co peanut butter. Is there peanut butter that's lower cal, higher protein, less sugar? Yes. Does this make my soul happy and make this change sustainable? Also, yes. Remember, perfection is not sustainable, my friends. You don't go out on your first interval run and expect to hit 6:30 for any interval ever, right? You go out on your first interval run and you run at a pace that your body can handle. You implement these changes at a pace your mind can handle, but you implement them, right? You do this idea of progressive overload that we talked about in the presentation. You do it to your mind too, because your mind is a muscle that can be trained just like the rest of you, okay? So you start with these small changes that Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest will tell you, oh, that peanut butter is so high in sugar. Yeah, it is. And you know what? It reminds me of times in New York with my parents. It makes me happy, okay? Sustainable changes are changes that make you happy. Then we get off the PB. About 2 tablespoons. I've done this enough times that I can kind of like guesstimate it, but let's be so for real. Another thing I'm not getting out is an actual tablespoon. I'm getting my smallest spoon and estimating, okay? Because I've done this enough times. If it makes you feel better to get out a tablespoon and measure the peanut butter until you get an idea of what it looks like, great, love that, do it. Whatever's sustainable for you, boo, right? Okay, so we're doing about a tablespoon of jelly. This is raspberry preserves. It is literally just raspberries, pectin, and sugar. Again, are there jellies that are like lower in sugar? Maybe. Is it a sustainable change if I use my brain space to worry about like things that have objectively proven to be bad for my brain? I'm in recovery from a binge eating disorder. Am I going to worry about the sugar in peanut butter? No. I'm going to say, I want that peanut butter. How can I make it work for my body? How can I add more fiber? How can I add more protein without adding too many more carbs? How can I make this work? How can I make it more nutritious, more aligned towards my goal? Perfection is not sustainable. Look, it's a cat. She's in my way. Leaf, you're getting in the way of our yapping. You're increasing our time. Then we add, you can't have that, a little bit of dried straws for some fiber and carbs. We're adding this is a 1 ounce serving. I added about a half an ounce maybe. So that's about 11 carbs or so. This whole thing, again, I'm going to put the actual nutrition facts in later because I'm tired and my brain doesn't work. But this whole thing, I worked it out as like 55 or 60 carbs. So again, we're above that threshold, but you know what we're not doing? Is we're not getting the ice cream out of the freezer and eating that lying down in bed. Because again, let's be so for real. What were the things that you were doing? Be honest with yourself. Be radically honest. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to tell me. Okay? But like, I've laid down in bed eating ice cream after my shift plenty of times. I've had gummy bears for dinner plenty of times. How do you think I got to be pre-diabetic? It's not a moral failing. Food is not a moral failing, my friends. Okay? Food is just food. Food is amoral. It is the choices you make about the food that you love that will serve you the best. Okay? That took about 5 minutes or so, and I'm done. I have a peanut butter and jelly tortilla with dried straws for crunch, and I'm gonna have a what's it called? White cheddar cheese stick. My daughters are being stupid. That's unprofessional. I'm gonna have a white cheddar cheese stick for some protein with minimal added carbs because gotta get fast, baby. So yeah, that took about 5 minutes. Cleanup is very minimal. It's one knife. I'm gonna put it in the sink. I'm gonna deal with it later, right? Please ignore my daughters. Because, again, I cannot emphasize this point enough. So I want you to listen, and I want you to look at me in my eyeballs. Okay? Look at me in my eyeballs. Change is not sustainable if you have to work crazy hard to keep it. You don't go out for your first mile, for your first run, and try to run it at like a 6:30, 7:30 pace and expect that to be sustainable. That's not sustainable. You're gonna get shin splints, right? You're gonna screw up your hips, right? You're gonna screw up your knees. Sustainable change is slow, methodical. It progressively overloads you. It progressively challenges you in smaller ways every single day. It's the same thing with your diet, okay? And if this matters to you, reversing a reversible chronic condition, then figure out ways to make this change sustainable. Make a delicious peanut butter tortilla with a little bit of jam and some dried straws. Call them straws. It makes me laugh. Stuff spinach in your face. Call it dinosaur time. You just got a serving of veggies. Let's put this... I almost swore on camera. I don't swear. I'm a professional. Let's put this back in the fridge. Hello, girls. Watch my tortilla, would you? Don't let my girls... Put that away, put that away, put that away. All right, yak time included. We're at about 7 minutes. I'm gonna eat this, not in bed, because there's another slow, sustainable change I'm making. We don't eat in bed anymore. No. We eat at the table, baby. Okay? And then I'm gonna go shower because I feel nasty. And sleep forever because I have to orient to day shift. I'm not actually switching to day shift. I would never. Hiss, hiss. Gross, gross. But I'm switching to the ICU full time. Yay! A more predictable schedule means easier to like meal plan and stuff. We can talk about meal planning in a later video. Anyways, later divas. Enjoy your run.